So today's webinar, we're really going to explore how you can take advantage of digital signage for education to enhance on-campus communications. Now, like Jeremy said, UCView has a vast experience in the education sector. We have tailored our solution for schools, both in K through 12 and higher education verticals. And so here you can see a few of the institutions that are powered by UCView. Now, in the platform is extremely versatile and can encompass all of the application that an education institution requires, such as yearbook, emergency messages, wayfinding, cafeteria menu boards, advertising, and even live broadcast. Now, we partnered with LG a few years ago, and since then we have abandoned the external player technology and focused on LG System on Chip. What that is, SoC, is where a player is fully integrated into the display. Now, there are many advantages to using UCView in tandem with LG WebOS. First off, it's very easy to install. You simply put the display on the wall, connect to power and internet, and you're done. It's also cheap to maintain because it uses less energy and has a built-in player. It's also highly scalable, and most importantly, has a very stable environment. Now, to simplify the differences between digital signage and IPTV for education, in digital signage, you contacts you download to player and played in a loop with scheduling, multi-zone, widgets, etc. In IPTV, the content is streamed live, whether it's a video on demand or live stream, and promotes an interactive experience with the user. As I mentioned, we provide both solutions on the same server. So in digital signage, UCView allows users to send unique content directly to specific displays. By the way, please do ask questions if you have any. Now, another unique feature of the UCView platform is our event-based campaign. This feature allows you to do a takeover with a unique playlist for all or some of the displays by manual or scheduled trigger. UCView Live Link will trigger content instantaneously across your campus displays. For example, during any campus event, you can trigger relevant campaign content and start or stop it by a click of a button. So we support multiple video implementations, pretty much all of them, whether it's a system on chip, cascading screens, or centralized video wall players. Any one you have. Now, our platform is also able to sync playlists to a fraction of a second. Let me give you an example. When you have multiple displays in a common area, all the content will be uniform, which creates a greater impact instead of individual screens showing different content. Now, UCView allows you to create departments and users that can integrate with Active Directory and can be organized based on user groups, such as campus security, student councils, academic divisions. Our departments and users allows the school to invite students and faculty to contribute to the different displays throughout campus. All this while maintaining security and content approval. Again, if you have any questions. Now, regarding social media, social media has become an integral part in communicating with your audience. UCView is a built-in social media app integrated to your school account, such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can use social media to play event videos from YouTube or Vimeo, create school announcements, display calendars. It literally engages staff and students. Now, regarding touchscreen kiosks, which all schools have right now, they've become really an increased need in education institutions for interactive communications with students and guests, such as wayfinding, interactive yearbook. UCView Microsite module allows you to deploy full interactive kiosks to any touchscreen display remotely. Now, the UCView Content Store has a full catalog of apps that can be used either as fillers or for entertainment, such as social media, news, weather widgets, and even video streaming. All of these are on our Content Store. These are a few examples of our complementary So in other words, in our content store, we have so many complementary examples that you can use, just as I said. We also created an intuitive way to import and modify HTML templates called Microsite. Any text or image within the template can be changed or replaced by clicking on the template directly. And of course, all of this we'll show you very, very soon. Now, our microsite is often used for menu boards. Even users with no HTML knowledge whatsoever can easily modify items on the menu, such as an item pricing or calorie, with a click of a button. Now you'll see examples of screens powered by UCView at the newly renovated stadium at USC, where the USC Trojans and Rams play. So you see, these are a few examples. This is at Utah Jazz. We also have, you see here, an example of our IPTV deployment. Now, our platform allows you to integrate with various databases, such as Office 365, SharePoint, and Google. These integrations will allow you to create dynamic menu boards, event calendars, single sign-on, and interactive screens. Now, thousands of schools across the country use emergency alerts, which are commonly called Common Alerting Protocol, or CAP alerts. They send messages to students and staff. UCView can integrate your CAP alerts and make sure they get noticed, and your students and staff know exactly what to do in an emergency. You can also allow a security guard on campus or police to easily trigger an emergency alert from their smartphone. It's very, very easy and important. Now we have another thing, which is our direct control module, which gives you control of the LG displays down to the BIOS level. You can control or change the brightness or volume of the screen. You can disable or enable remote control, and even disable the power button on display. This prevents, for example, students, being able to turn on or turn off a screen or interact with the remote control. Now we're going to log in and see it live. I'm going to turn it over to Guy. Take it over, Guy.
Hi, everyone. So thank you, Leah. Everything you just mentioned, Leah just mentioned, is basically to overview some feature and terminology we're using, like event campaign, because we don't want to go and start creating too detailed campaign within the demonstration, just to give you the look and feel of the application. So everything you saw until now can basically be on-premise solution and as a cloud solution. So the school can choose if the IT department would like to host the solution internally within the school, or have it as a cloud solution. In both cases, you get exact same solution. Now, concerning the platform you can run it on, so we're actually agnostic. So your IT guy can choose any type of environment he wants to use. So if he like Microsoft environment, like a Microsoft shop, then he probably will install the server on a Windows server and use MS SQL. If they're Linux environment, they're probably going to go with Linux server and MySQL and other databases. Regarding the player, same thing. If you have some kind of old player you currently using while you doing a refresh to all the display to LG, you can use some kind of a Brightsign or Android player or any kind of it to connect to your existing players. But concerning performance, definitely our recommendation is only to go with SoC solution. So let's log in and actually see how it goes live. So 1 second.
And again, we're happy to answer any questions you have. Now I do see a question. It says, can UCView interact with any consumer web OS, LG panels, or only the digital signage, enterprise web OS panels?
Maybe Jeremy can answer that. There is some limitation with the consumer application, and it's from the base design. So the way it works is you cannot use it because, for example, a smart TV, which is commercial grade, will boot in every time there's a power failure. It will go directly to the app that was previously running. You cannot have this functionality on a consumer grade. Consumer grade always go to the HDMI. So there's a lot of things that will not work on this. And another feature, for example, you cannot download content to consumer grade. It doesn't have a local storage. So even if you run application there, you won't have any storage for the files to download the file and store them on the display. So all the business B2B, we call it application, streaming, and all this stuff was removed from the consumer grade displays, and they're only support features like Netflix, etc. I hope that answered. So this is the application. Again, you can put it on your own server, etc. So I'm going to log in. I'm going to switch to some education. Oh, okay. So this is basically the dashboard. You log in. So it tells you how many screens you have online and some announcement within the system. And if you want to activate a new player, download software to your player, etc. So we have the quick start button on top, and we have the menu on the left, which is very common to web application. The menu designed with 3-4 main category: content scheduling, how you manage and deploy your content; content management, creating content, getting content from your Dropbox or any kind of other solution, other storage; management of the network. That's the entire network, your player, the way they look, the design, etc. And then management of department and user. You can manage who can log in, what they can see when they log in, etc. We're going to see it in a second. And then some system setting, reports, of course, of what play on any given player, etc. And global alert, where you activate alert on the screen. So as a user or whoever set up the system the first time, before we want to send content to the screen, we first want to know how the screen looks like. So whether we have a multi-zone environment, when you have a background image with branding and multi-zone, or you will have just a full screen where the content cover the entire screen in any given moment. Now you can switch between them while you're playing the content. So you can have full screen content, and then it's going to switch back to multi-zone or switch different kind of layouts. But in UCView, you can actually create any type of look and feel and design, you see, as with tickers, etc. And then you can assign this content to any of your display or some displays. So after you design your screen, you can go and start managing your network. So I have here like 2 pages of locations. So there's no limitation how many locations you can have. We're going to work with a couple of them. So for example, if I'm going to go to administration building, so location is basically virtual. It can be a building, a department, a campus, so whatever you call it. And within a location, you can have as many as you want displays. So in here location, you can define the operation hours. So you can say, okay, the operation hour of this school is for this building is to turn on at 7 a.m. and turn themselves off automatically at 10 p.m. And I want them to be off on Sundays. So the screen is going to turn themselves on and off, etc. Depend on the operation hours. Within the building, we can see all our displays. So we see the displays are online. Uptime is 100%. We can go to each one and actually see more detail on the CPU and disk usage. And for the IT guys, if you have here between you guys on the webinar, we give you really deep diagnostic into the display, to the LG display. For example, you can go in and monitor the CPU throughout the last 2 days, the memory usage. So if any kind of memory was actually affecting the operation of the screen, disk usage. So all the diagnostic, you can go and troubleshoot stuff even without ever going to the display and see what's going on. With a couple of more features, for example, is just preview what's playing on it. So if I'm going to click the watch live loop, actually I'm going to demonstrate directly on my computer exactly what's playing right now on the screen. So it's going to simulate the content to the level of the pixel. So this is exact presentation on what's playing right now on the LG screen. To the second presentation, and any malfunction or any non-malfunction, any inaccuracy of the zone is actually pixel level accuracy. So, and that after you play that, you can actually share it with a colleague by sharing this or embed it on your website. So just for you to see how deep is UCView in the deployment. So if you upload a 200 meg video, we don't expect you to actually view the 200 meg video on your computer. So every time you upload a video, let's say 200 meg, a high definition video, send it to the display, the system is going to prepare you this demonstration that's fit to be seeing over the internet. So it's going to recode every video to multiple versions, so you can watch it on your phone or share it on your website, and you'll be able to view the playlist. Another thing that you can do is using, for example, if we go to the location, we can actually global view. Global view will allow you to see each display. So the display is sending snapshots to the screen, as you see here, and then we can actually request snapshot every few seconds. So that screen now is going to send us snapshot every few seconds on what's playing right now on the screen. So as you see here, now we're getting snapshot every, what we set up right now is 5 seconds. So you see every 5 seconds, the system send me a new snapshot. So I can actually see a live view of what's playing on the screen without logging into the screen and interrupt the playlist. Of course, we can reboot it remotely. We can again see stats on what version of WebOS is running on it. So like we said, we control the WebOS level. We control the application level, the JavaScript on the screen, the IP it's coming from. We can lock the screen remote control. Everything is centralized. Let's see if I find it here. 1 second. So this is concerning the screen. Now, within the location, you can see your entire location. You can group the location any way you want. So you can, the grouping is just easy for demonstration. Let's say a user wants to only send content to specific school or specific area, or only the cafeteria screen, or any kind of grouping you have. So it's easy for scheduling, as we're going to see very few seconds. Of course, the system send you notification on anything going on with your screen. If something happened with the screen, you're going to get an SMS or an email that lets you know that screen went offline, etc. Now, after you have your network up and running, now the most important for the average user is who can log into the screen and what he can do in any given moment. Now, we believe that a digital signage, a really healthy digital signage, there is a lot of contributors to the screen within the campus. So there's not one user that uploads content. So we can have multiple departments, each one responsible for their own content or their own zone on the screen, and they can upload content with full approval system, etc. So we built what's called department and user. In department and user, you can create as many as you want departments. And within a department, you can define, for example, to the level of the zone. So this department called marketing can only access those locations and can only access certain zone on the location. So I can limit the department and the user within the department access to the level of the zone on a specific screen. And if there are need approval system, I can create approval. Now, each content or any modification of content that go through the department actually can go through those approval users that can be strictly as anyone can approve the content, or all of them have to approve the content before any changes goes to the screen.
So it's very easy to delegate.
Now, within the menu here, we want to simplify for the user the UX. So we can actually define what they're going to see when they log in. So those users, for example, if we take, for example, this specific user, And we're going to define, 1 second, that he is going to see only certain stuff when he logs in. So we're going to log in as that user. And what I'm going to show you is how we simplify the user UX for a user. I don't have permission yet. 1 second. I need to set up a user. So this is an example of a user that the UX is very simplified. So as you see here, the entire menu disappears. So he only have campaign. And when he create content, he will only see the location we give him access to. And we select the location he wants to send them content. He will only have ability to upload content to the 2 zones we give him access to. So see how simple it is. Let's say we block him from the ticker, we block him from the side banner. Now he can use any content on his computer. Let's say he goes to his computer, selecting this video and couple of pictures. And that's how simple it is to push content to the screen. Any one of those content, he can decide where it played between the 2 zones we gave him. So this is a video that play some Maserati video, or this images. I can define how long each one is going to play. So the only thing that's left now is press save, publish, and it's done. So we actually try to define the simplest process that people remember how to do, and it's usually sending an email. When you're sending an email, you're used to just creating a new email, define the recipient, and then drag and drop your content, your PDF, your image into the email, and press send. So in UCView, we follow the same process and say, every time you want to upload content, the first question is going to ask you, here is your distribution list, like your email distribution list, or this is basically campaign. This campaign go to all the location, this campaign only go to the cafeteria, etc. Or you can actually select the specific recipient. I want to send it only to the LG screen within the administration building. Now, when I select that location, the system is going to show me exactly how the screen looks in that location. And now it says, okay, what do you want to do here? So I'm going to drag my content. So if the content already reside on the server, you have your own library. So you can just choose from the department content. So the department can organize the content by different folder and images, etc. We actually have designer that upload whatever they design to a specific folder, and then the user can just go into that folder, find what he wants to use, let's say those 2 images, and just say, I want to use those. And right there, they're on the screen. I can switch between them, define each one is going to play, let's say 12 seconds, and this is 11 seconds. And I can define that this one is going to play on side banner 2. And the first one will stay in here, or it's going to go full screen, whatever I choose. And the only thing I have left to do is press save. When I press save, it's confirming that I just upload 2 pieces of content. I can preview them before, and I can define that they're going to play all the time with no restriction. Basically, when I publish it, they're going to go to the displays, 1 or more display, and just play. Or I can say, you know what, this one is an event-based, and I want it to play only between February 4th to February 25th, and only between 9 a.m. and let's say 2 p.m., and only those days of the week. So any kind of scheduling, and you can define that this is going to play in a range, or it's going to play once, mean at 9:28 a.m. on those days of the week is going to interrupt the content within the playlist, whatever playing right now on that zone, and interrupt it, and then play the content for the duration, and then go back to the playlist. So there's a lot of really crazy kind of, if it's event-based, if it's a play once, you play in a range, etc. If not, I can just say, just play all the time, and whatever left is just to play publish. When I play publish, within seconds, the system is going to show me that I just updated 1 display, mark it in yellow, and if I click here again, I can preview exactly what I just upload and preview the playlist. If the playlist is large and I do not want to now sit and watch the entire playlist, I will click on the name of the playlist. Now it's going to give me a lot deeper presentation what's going on. We try to make it very simple in a way that should be self-explanatory. That's how the screen looks like. This is the main media zone, and that's what's playing in the main media. So if you want to choose each one of them, you can just click one by one and watch each one of them separately. The green here actually to rearrange the content by order, anything you want. So you can go to each zone and actually play any content that play there, or you can actually go to anywhere in the playlist. Oops, sorry. You can go anywhere in the playlist, and it's going to show you what's playing in any given moment. And it's marking the content that you see here in blue, what's playing for 4 minutes and 7 seconds into the loop. So as you see here, it's really, I think if you take 100% of our development time, at least 80% of it is on the UX to make it look so you can see, have clarity on what's playing on the screen in any given moment and how the content looks like. So if we had this LG screen here and we actually put a camera on it, you'll see that this presentation is almost 99.9 presentation what's going on the screen right now and how it looks like, the content. So back to playlist, then we have some statistics so you can see if you tag your content, you can see how many announcements you have, how many alerts, how many without tags. So you can actually tag your content and get some statistics on what's going on with the display. So back to content, creating again content. The content does not need to be just files. So we see here we choose file that comes from your computer, whatever it is, and you, like I mentioned, you can put it on any zone of the screen, schedule it, etc. Or you can pick it up from your library when you can organize your library in any way, like I mentioned. Now, if the content is not files, then you have ability to stream content. We support any live streaming from live broadcast in, like Leah mentioned, in USC school that actually broadcast live event game to news, etc. Or you can drop down to our app store and say, I want to put some weather, 5-day forecast, and just type in your zip code and you can see it. And then again, like any other content, you can decide if it's going to go full screen. Oh, sorry. If it's going to go full screen or play in any specific zone. And you can see how the content automatically adjusts itself to the zone level. So it would be basically right now, put the zip code, maybe change the background. Let's say you want to put ocean in the background here. Decide if you want to go full screen or in the media, press save, publish, and you're done. Same thing you can do for news. Let's say I want to do NBC News. So we have tons of apps and we'll touch the App Store. As you see here, I'm going to make the content full screen here. And you see that will take news, and I can say entertainment news, and will give me some design stuff. So I can change the color to red and maybe light it up a little bit to blue. And then decide if it's going to play again in any zone. At the same time, we have tons of apps. We're going to go through the app like social media widget. So the system is going to show you only the app that you installed, because we have so many apps. We don't want to confuse the user. So whatever your admin install or the department allow you to see, you're going to see it here. And that's including, for example, if you do a text message, you don't want to do a simple announcement, and you can change coloring and text and type whatever you want and put it on the screen. Or you want to go with the bottom banner, for example, and you're going to go with some kind of a scrolling text. And then you can select again coloring. Sorry. speed. So you see how, while I'm doing it, how simple it is, because we give you and the simplicity comes with the feedback. When the user can actually see every aspect of changes he does, if he increase the size of the font, instantly he's gonna see it. If you put it too small, he's gonna see it. So you're actually preventing mistakes. The visual confirmation of a software sometimes is more important than the feature itself, because the user feel and give the confidence that what he does actually works. And the moment you press send, that's exactly how you're gonna see it on the LG screen. So you can define, change coloring, change font, and that's how simple it is. So again, we have web pages. Let's say you want to put a web page on the screen, or you have internal website. You're just going to put the URL. And again, example is we're not just going to open the URL. We actually minimize the URL to fit the screen. So this is abnormal size of screen, but we still took the UCView website and minimize it to fit the zone. And again, you can decide if it's going to be full screen or play in any zone. So you can send, if you have an internal website with some stats or any kind of information that update on a daily basis, you just put a URL to the internal website, put it on a zone or specific screen, decide how long it's going to play, 30 seconds, a minute within the playlist, save, publish, done. Media RSS, of course, etc. Now, just to go a couple of unique features that we have, for example. So we talk about the App Store. The reason we don't list all the apps, here it is. We don't want to have a drop-down menu with so much content. So here it is. We give you the app. If you like it, you basically click on it, see information or preview how it looks, and then install the app. From the moment you install it, it's going to appear under news category within your app store. Same thing as you have on your phone, the same concept. You don't want to have any Google app on your phone or any icon, of course. You want to have only the icon that you decide to have on your phone. Same thing as here. Concerning another tool is management of content. So before I go to Microsite, which is a very powerful tool, we want to show you our content library. So regardless how you upload content to the system, whether you're using add content from here or create a campaign, our campaign is basically a group of contents. Or, for example, I created a general dynamic campaign. So this is the content on the campaign. So I can actually watch every video separately or see the content, how long it's playing, who uploaded, who updated lately, how many time it played in the last day, etc. The campaign setting tells you where it's playing. So that's the distribution. So a campaign called General Dynamic actually can play on all those locations or specific player within the location, as you see here. So you can define the distribution. So now when you're creating content, you can send the content to any display, any campaign, and you already know where it's going. So you don't need to select every time all the locations. But regardless how you upload the content, it comes up to this very powerful library. When I say powerful, is because if you click on any piece of content, the system is going to show you on the right here what it is, when you upload it, the size, the images, the resolution, the tag, and where it's playing right now. So right now, this is playing on default campaign. If I select this one or any other content, it tells me that this image actually name those numbers. It's actually playing on school broadcast, and actually here's all the display it's playing on with multiple pages. So I can pause it right from here. I can say, I want to delete or resume or play this content, and it's going to push it back to all the display or delete it from all the display within one click. Now, at the same time, I want to organize my content, so I can take this thing and drag and drop it into the marketing folder. Now it's appear here, and I didn't break anything within the system. So you can organize, drag and drop your content, organize it, and each folder is going to tell you what's going on, how many files within folder. So there's no limitation on how you structure the content. And at the same time, the integrity of the content, where it's playing, appears by just selecting it and getting all the information. if you want to reuse it, let's say this content is playing right now on all this location, and you want to create another instant. So you can select content, this one, and just say, use as content, and you start the process, the same thing like before. I'm going to send it to a campaign or send it to my administration building. See it. Here is my content. Save, publish, done.
Does anyone have any questions so far? All right, go on.
So this is a content library. In content library, we have too many features we can even show today. We see this folder called media RSS. It's called active folder. Active folder, basically, you can select a folder and assign it to a display to a specific zone. And what that gives you, there's no need to update content anymore. A user just need to maintain content within the folder. So if I take a file for example, I'm going to my computer and I taking this image and I drag and drop it here. I just already added it. So the moment you add or delete files from this folder, automatically those files get removed from the playlist on the screen. So the user, in that case, does not even need to know how to upload content to UCView. He just needs to know that this is folder that represent his playlist, and by deleting content, I just delete those two files. Any content you delete, it will actually remove it or add it to the playlist instantly. So that's called active folder. Active folder play as a mini playlist within the player, and adding content to the folder, automatically adding content to the playlist. Another feature that Leah mentioned is going to show you how it looks. So you create a campaign, and the moment you trigger the campaign as event campaign, you're going to see it here. So we work with, for example, our system is running the entire LA Coliseum. So we can trigger an event that would trigger a streaming event, or we can switch between RAM game to USC game by just triggering a different event campaign, selecting it by date and time, API, or just say trigger the event. The moment I trigger the event, all the screens that actually within that campaign instantly, within less than half a second, change and start playing the event. And when a user goes in using his phone app, you can go and stop the event. All the screen is going to go back to what they were playing before that.
There is another question. Can you show multi-display, display arrangements, angle adjustment, etc.?
Yes, we're gonna. You're talking about video probably. So I'll touch it in a few minutes after I touch the next feature, which is the Microsite. So in Microsite, again, management content, we had a huge challenge that we saw in the market, that content is king. So the screen looked as good as your content. So if you add bad design content, regardless how your screen and your venue look like, it's going to look bad. So designers are very particular about the tools they use to design content. So what we did is we decided, instead of building our own system, and we have our own easy board, we're actually adapting with Microsite technology to any Adobe product, Google Web Designer, or any HTML product you have. What that create, that you can create, basically take all your asset, which you design in Google Web Designer or Adobe product like Muse, zip the entire content and upload it to the screen. So I'm going to give you an example of stuff that we did not design. A customer upload this design. You see we have video here and interactivity I'm going to show you in a second, but that's what he uploaded. He uploaded a folder with all those assets inside. So you see it has JavaScript and fonts and videos. And you take the entire thing just as a zip file, a zip, and you drag and drop it into our system, and our system know how to extract it, look for the HTML inside the folder, and preview the design. But the magic happen is when you do any changes, upload new, replace video, or click on anything, we will send the LG screen a new zip file. We're actually going to compress it again, do the changes, and send it to the LG. The LG is going to extract it again locally and execute the information. What provides is that the kiosk or the information is actually reside on the player, even though it's an HTML web content, it still can support offline capability because everything is cached on the screen. In this case, we see here, this is example of customer design content. It's a fully interactive kiosk of video and information. So all this stuff is fully interactive, and the designer loves it because we let him use his own tools. We don't say, oh, you want to create a kiosk, so you have to go through training how to create kiosk or interactivity within our system. No, we said you can use any information and any web design product you have, and you can use it to deploy content on UCView. Another magic that happened within it is after your designer made the content, your designer does not want to have any part in modifying it on a daily basis. So let's say, for example, this school template here, that a designer did the work. So we see that we have rotating images here. We can see that he uploaded photos, JS, CSS, and index. As a user, you don't care. You just upload the zip file. We take care of the rest. Now we see what he uploaded right here. But the magic happened that if you want to change, for example, as you see, there's a rotating images here. And the Pepsi here, I'm going to click on it. And now I can upload something else. So I can open my computer and go to this image and upload a different image. Now I just replaced the Pepsi with a different image. I can go in and click on any asset within your HTML. So what our system does is, what the system will do is, it will go into your designer code, find those assets, images, text, or anything, and will let you modify it on the fly. So now the designer, basically, your designer, or you're designing anything you design, can be used or changed by anyone that has no knowledge of HTML. You just need to click, change, and you modify the template, use it as, apply the content or use it as content, and you're done. So if I take this template and I'm going to send it again like any other content to our display, look how it's going to fit inside the zone, and you can change where it's going to play, what time, full screen, like any other content. So there's a lot of stuff we can go on Microsite. There's a tons of features, and we have, just to show you all the template that we provide. And the template is just an example of what you can do with the screen. You can download the template and modify the content on the template, or you can use any Google Web Designer or our support to change content. I'm going to answer a couple of questions regarding the layout designer. So in Video Wall, you have the ability to do a multi-screen environment, multi-screen, and you can decide you're going to have, I don't know, Video Wall 3x3, 1920 by 1080. And it's going to draw, as you see here, all your screen, and you can go further and create zone to cover only specific, different content on each screen, on each video wall screen, or you can have certain cover half or the entire thing. So you can have multi-zone and actually change it while you're playing. So you can have some video play full screen, and then you switch to multi-zone environment when you have different content on each screen, etc. And then you can have audio balance and indexing, etc., that you can use, overlay that you can have within the video wall. In the last, let's touch a couple more things. Global alert. Global alert are very simple to use. Basically, you can design an alert in any kind of formatting, which is what we design here. But you can activate an alert using CAP alert integration. We have a phone app that a security guard can carry, and the moment you click on the app, it's of course fully secure. It's going to activate alerts across all the screen. So in that case, for example, if we have a screen playing and someone went and activated an alert, within a few seconds, what we do is we define, let me see what we have in alert here. So if you activate an alert using API or anything else, what's going to happen is we're going to let the user, regret on that is a mistake within 30 seconds, or any kind of interval you guys want. We define a 30 seconds to decide if it was a mistake or not, and then the alert is going to go and actually activate whatever message it is and any kind of design of the alert you want. So the moment then you're going to go and disable the alert using an app or phone, all the screen or certain screen will basically within the 30 seconds is going to go and start playing the content back to what it's playing before. So you can push alerts, and the alert can be anything you want. Can be announcement or anything that basically that doesn't have to be, God forbid, something like a shooter on campus, but it can be anything that will stop the screen, go to the alert, and then manually you can go back. So you can actually think about it like an event base, which is better to use the event or triggering alert from alerting system. In the last 5 minutes we have left or so, we want to answer some questions.
We did answer the questions that people did write. We just explained about the multi-video for video wall.
So is your question about
Jeremy's asking, yeah. So hopefully we answered that question. If not, please refine the question. But really, we will be contacting everyone that joined by tomorrow, and we can definitely schedule one-on-one webinars where we can hear you and you can hear us, and it's a conversation. We can go specifically into the features you want to see and talk about your own applications and answer any questions you have. So we're just going to give another minute or two for any more questions. But yes, I mean, there's so many features, it will take hours to go through. So that's why we do those one-on-ones the next time around.
Another thing that we can go while people answer question is, for example, in some school that we have occasion that people do not know how, what is it?
Well, there is another question. Do the Microsite video walls require additional licenses?
No. So any player, one player can power a video wall. So we even have a good success right now with LG release a new external WebOS player. So you can connect the external WebOS player to a video wall with cascaded the screen, and that player is going to run the entire all the environment.
And will require only one license.
Yes.
It's per player, not per screen.
Another thing that we want to show that it's really unique. So in school, we found an issue or a challenge that certain user does not want to learn a new system, or their interactivity with the display are minimal. So when that's the case, we're going to take, for example, this Jack here, and Jack does not have any knowledge or does not want to have any kind of learning new system, but he still want to interact with the screen like a teacher. You want to upload content or suggest content to the screen. Let's say I want to do an event. So instead of teaching him this entire system, we're going to make this user as a content request only. And we're going to log in as that user, and look what's happened with the system. Okay, so that user, when he logs in, that's the only thing he's going to see. Basically, we call it content request. He can request content from the system, so someone else is going to fulfill it for him. So if you have a power user or a designer or someone that knows how to do stuff, is going to get by email and basically a ticket system for all the requests. And now we can fulfill it for different users within the school that do not know how to upload content, or in most cases, the cases they don't have the tools to create decent content. So right now I'm a user, I'm going to say, I want to create an announcement because I have a school, a class, something, and I'm going to put my announcement for event school. I'm going to ask for the description. So the user is going to type in, just in his word, what's the description of the announcement? What's the start date of the event he wants to put? And design instruction, please add this picture or this logo. And I have this picture from my previous party, and I'm going to give it to him. The category is whatever you decide, and I wanted to put it on the school building. Save. So I just created a ticket system. When the designer or a power user logs in, so right now I can start communicating with the designer without the need to be there. So when the designer log in the morning, he's going to get, of course, instantly an email. But when he logs in the morning, he can go and actually see all the ticket system that user within the school requests from the system. And those user does not have the tools to create decent content. So here I'm going to see the content, and I can, for each one of those tickets, I can go in and I can see the user that requests the content. I can chat with him using this chat, and I can fulfill the content for him. So let's see this here. Yeah. So for example, if I made a design now, I can say, you know what, here is what I made for you. Here is my design. And I'm going to upload the design I did. And I'm going to post it. Now, within second, the user that submit the content request is going to get an email. He can go in, watch the content I upload, and approve it. And then the user can use that content and push it to the display. So we create a content request system within the system, so you can actually involve people without any knowledge of digital signage, because creating a ticket system, it's basically filling up a form with I don't know how many fields, probably 4 fields, 5 fields, which makes it, we call it a dump-proof kind of a solution. You want a scrolling text, here it is. Just put us what do you want us to scroll. If there's design instruction, you want it red, blue, light, etc. The date, publish, done.
I think we answered all the questions there are. And again, we will be offering one-on-one webinars, answering questions.
Demo accounts.
Yeah. We'll send all of that to everyone so everyone can play around with the system now that you've seen it. Again, we want to thank everyone for joining. And we will be in contact in the next few days, and have a wonderful rest of the day. Bye, everyone.